What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. Tuesday, transfer window is closed, and we shouldn't really be talking about it. However, the transfer window did affect the team, basically, because that's a story, that's the rumors that have been floating around since last week, but I kind of tried to ignore them, but they always pop up and they pop up again. So that's why I'm going to talk about it. So basically, players are not happy with Motta, and they are against Motta for what he did with Danilo. Not so much that they decided to not play Danilo, but more so that he decided that you can actually leave mid-season, and players are shocked about it. They don't like it, so on. So I have certain things to say about that one, definitely. But before we do that, as always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about, the quote-unquote locker room going against Thiago Motta already. Okay, so first off, before I get into the story, if there are players against a coaching decision, a decision a coach makes that he thinks is good for the team, that he thinks he needs to do for the team, and you have players thinking, this is wrong, that's one thing. If you, and that's the story, players actually not rating Motta for that and going against him for that, leave the club ASAP. That's what I want to say. So the story is basically that the players like Fagioli, like Vlahovic are shocked, stunned, that Motta said, not that Motta said, excuse me, I do not play Danilo that much anymore. I prefer other options, but that Motta decided you can leave in January. Like, I'm okay with leaving, with you leaving in January. So my thing is, as a player, I understand you have friends, you build a friendship. I understand that you potentially actually like players, or you actually look up to players, which is not a good thing in my opinion. If you look up to the wrong players, not that Danilo is a bad guy or something, but I mean, like, he doesn't inspire me. When I watch him on that pitch, he doesn't inspire me. So that's okay if you think that, but if the stories are true, which I don't believe are true, by the way, I refuse to believe them right now, even though it could make sense, and maybe that's what the story is. It's a tap-in because Vlahovic is not playing, so hey, let's throw in Vlahovic, and Fagioli is not playing, so let's throw in Fagioli. That seems more of a clique of people who are not playing as much as they want anymore, going against or siding with, the player moved out of the club because he's not playing as much. But even if that's the case, then you shouldn't be here, because this is not Danilo FC. This is not Vlahovic FC, or like for Locatelli FC or Bremer FC, whatever. This is not player FC. This is Juve FC. This is not about one player. Like, I can sit back and kind of accept that if the player in question was Buffon or Chiellini, like, if it was that caliber of player, then I'm like, man, maybe these players have a point. It's weird to kick that player out mid-season, because, well, he's an unbelievable player, was an unbelievable player, and bona fide winner / leader. But that's not the case right now. Like, we are moving out players that, again, I've said it many times, a footnote in our history, and maybe that's, for me, the issue. If that's actually the case, that everybody is worried, even in the locker room, about moving these players out, then maybe we are actually on the wrong path. If the coach is like, I do not rate you, I cannot use you, as a club, as a player, if you need to just accept that and move on. You just need to move on, because at the end of the day, it's business. It's about winning. We're not winning. We're trying to get back to winning. And if the coach makes a decision, good or bad, you need to accept that. Because if you don't, and it's very simple, if you don't, you're not going to survive at the club. If that is actually the plan, you're just not going to survive, because at the end of the day, the coach is in charge. Last season, I despised decisions Allegri made, but I remember I came on one show, and there was a story about Vlahovic, not focusing or not training hard enough because of how Allegri was doing. It was like, I'm with you with the fact that I do not like what Allegri is doing right now. But at the end of the day, he's still the coach. And I expect you as a player to give your all for this team. No matter which decisions have been made, if you're under contract, I expect you to be focused. I expect you to listen to the coach and accept the decisions and do your best. The moment you're not on that mindset, you're done at this club and you don't have a part at this club anymore. So, do I believe those stories? Not really. I think it looks easy because the names mentioned, Fagioli and Vlahovic, are also not playing, and it goes hand in hand with Danilo moving out. Fagioli, his situation, and Vlahovic's situation with his contract, all those things. I think it's a very easy story. I do believe the players are a bit shocked, that they moved out Danilo. But I also believe a lot of these players can accept that and just move on because at the end of the day, it's business as usual. And some of these players never played with Danilo, to be honest. Kalulu didn't really play with Danilo. Savona didn't play with Danilo. Di Gregorio didn't play with Danilo. Thuram didn't play. Conceição didn't play. Like a lot of these players, Douglas, they didn't play with Danilo. So the players who have a problem with it, maybe it's Gatti, probably, or potentially feel sorry for him. Locatelli, McKennie, maybe Yildiz, but a lot of these players never play with Danilo. So that's why I'm like, the story is a bit off. And deep down inside, I hope it's completely fake. I hope, like, being surprised, being disappointed that a guy you like in Danilo, being a player, leaves and shocked that it happens mid-season, I can understand. But disliking it to an extent where you're like, man, Motta, what the hell? I'm out. I'm checked out with you. That can never be the case because at that moment in time, you're going against the club and its fans because Motta is in charge and he should be the guy leading us to, I don't know, what you think he can lead us to, winning things again in the future, whatever, or build something for the next guy, who knows. If you don't want to be part of it, if your mindset is, I'm actually doing my best not to be part of it, then that's even worse. That's even worse than maybe what you think Motta has done. That is a bad thing. You going against the coach is going against the fans. It's going against the club. And for me, that's much, much worse because that shows you're not committed to the cause, but you're just committed to yourself. And the moment that happens, it's a no-go and it's never going to work, So do I believe the story? Not to the full extent, but it's keep coming out week in and week out. The last couple of days, last 2 weeks, it's consistent that there's something about players, not liking what Motta does and so. But I think the problem, I think we all can agree on that. Maybe he should be more strict, Motta, because he comes across like a bit soft. We come across as a team as a bit soft. So I cannot imagine players are actually stunned of the strict rules of Thiago Motta. He just made a decision that he doesn't rate Danilo. He doesn't think he's part of the plan, and they moved on. And Danilo blew it up for no good reason at all because that's who he is. It's all about him. It's not about the club. He played it very nicely, but at the end of the day, he was just basically stamping on the club on his way out. Just when we are down, just kicking us when we were down, basically. And that I cannot rate. So I think Motta made the right decision to move him out ASAP, because if that's the case, that you have a player that is maybe going against you and creating that certain buzz in the locker room, then being Motta, it's only making sense that you're like, okay, get out. I don't need you here anymore. And if players do not accept that, then these players have an issue because they won't play for the club very long. Because at the end of the day, Giuntoli tied his future to Motta, and Motta is in charge. So whatever Motta will decide, Giuntoli will need the back. Otherwise, it will all collapse. So let's see what type of stories will come out in the next couple of days. But I don't think he lost the locker room like the media is suggesting. I think it's more about the shock effect that I think will just be accepted by the players already now. Like, it's over. It's done. We need to move on. So let me know, do you believe the stories, yes or no? And if so, what do you think about it? And yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you guys very soon. Ciao.